Traders, welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Today is Friday, April the 17th. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to Friday. It's the end of a great week. We have had a fantastic week here, all green, and hope you all were able to join and hope you're getting something out of this stream. So this is a live interactive trading, learning, teaching, market analysis place. And my goal here is to help traders of all levels. So if you're new, oops, we're getting some big moves here. Hold on a minute. Getting a little bitty bumpy here. We are getting some herky jerkies. Hold on a minute. I'm in a put right now and I'm watching it here. I'm just about ready to jump out if I can get this to push down just a bit more. Something looked like there might have been a little news on that candle, so I'm kind of curious as to what just happened. All right, looks like it might be settling in now. Let's see what goes on. As I was saying, my goal is to help traders of all levels. So if you're new, you're in the right place. If you've been trading for a long time, you're in the right place. We're going to take some live trades, and this is for educational purposes only. So I'm going to, if we get the right setups, I'm going to take some trades in front of you. This is educational. So if you choose to follow, you do that at your own risk. But I'm going to talk through what my setups are, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing. And we're also going to analyze the market and just get to know each other and have a little fun together. So hopefully everybody's down for that. And it is a Friday. So you know what? It's always good to get to Friday, and we've had a green week. And so that's lots of fun. So thanks for saying hi. Thanks for jumping in the chat. Looks like Freaky Turkey is here. Good morning. 10% on that drop. Excellent, Freaky. Glad you made something on it. Gideon, hello, Mel. Hi, Gideon. Good to see you. Freaky Turkey topped out on tick scalp technical to cause the drop. Well, I do see the tick, but I don't see it topping out. So you might be looking at maybe a different chart, perhaps. I do see a top on the tick here, hitting about 1,000 at 10:41 Eastern. So maybe that was part of it. That was quite a few minutes ago, but you never know. Val Sundberg is here. Gavilan is here. Good morning. All right. How did the trade from yesterday go? Gavilan, great question. I held that trade. I didn't average it, and I got out for 28% win on a really fast dip down to the VWAP. So did you take that, Gavilan? I'm not sure if you did or not, but yeah, for me, I did have to hold it for a while, but it did work out. So thanks for checking on that. All right. So right now, this is an absolute freight train. It is crazy, crazy, crazy what has been going on in the market. In fact, I'm pretty sure we are in a really very rare situation where we've seen 13 green days. Now, not everywhere, but on the futures, we have 13 green days. Take a look at this. All right, I did, and I got out on the dip as well. Good, Gavilan, did you make some money on it? I hope you did. Let me get over to my daily here. And let's turn off our volume profile so we can see better. Okay. Take a look at this chart, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Today is the 14th green day. Absolutely unheard of. I'm going to have to do a little research, but I do not know when the last time that happened. I want to say it's been decades. Very, very unusual behavior. Not only that, the VIX is behaving very oddly today. Take a look at what the VIX is doing here. So we are sitting on, Hatman is here. Good morning, David Neely. What did I just walk into? I don't know. What did you just walk into? What's the question, David? We have a very odd behavior going on from the VIX. Very, very strange. And it's been happening for about 3 days where the VIX is just off. Something is just off with the VIX. So let's take a look. Let me zoom out a little so we can see this better. And I want to try to line these up as best I can. Okay. Let's see, 9:57. That's close. Let's do this. All right. David, just turned on my computer. Okay, David. Well, welcome aboard. So, starting at about roughly about 10 o'clock Eastern, we're getting kind of a slow climb on the S&P, right? So 10 till we get the high at about 1050. What's happening on the VIX from 10 to 1050? We did get some drop here, but then from about 1010 to 1050, what's it doing? It's climbing with the market. That's unusual. And when that happens, you have to pay attention. And then we got a little blip here at about 1053. The market comes down a bit. The VIX comes down. 1055, big drop down to 1058. 1, 2, 3, big drop there from 1056 to 1058. What's happening here? Nothing. Not much. Not much happening at all. Then we get this kind of weird candle that we just saw a couple minutes ago. We got some elevated volume, a pop up, a pop down, kind of just a real flash kind of candle. We got a pop on the VIX, just a little one. And the VIX is now continuing down. And the market is kind of up. It's very odd, extremely odd behavior from the VIX. So also we are having options expiration is happening today. So we are seeing that April 17th, these monthly expirations happen. And April 17th happens to be the expiration for this month. It happens every third Friday where these options that are expiring monthly are rolling off and the new May options are rolling on. And big money is usually positioning themselves around these monthly expirations. So sometimes we will see the market get a little wonky either the day before or the day of options expiration. That does happen. It gets a little odd. It gets a little wonky, and we can see big spikes and drops, big movements in the market. We can see it. All right. Looks like we're getting a bit of a drop here as the VIX drops. I'm so intrigued with this behavior. It's very odd. VIX is sitting at 17.3. Kind of running with the market at the moment. And it's just the oddest thing to watch. It's really blowing my mind. David is asking if it's because of manipulation. Well, it must be, it must be some form of manipulation, because usually when the VIX is rising, the market is dropping. When the VIX is dropping, the market is rising. So this is unusual behavior. Is it because of manipulation? I mean, it must be. I just don't know what is going on. I'll be honest with you. It's very odd. All right, but we do have a nice drop here. And if anybody followed me from the previous stream, I am still in my puts. They are just about to break even. I did average at the last drop. So I'm sitting at about a 7% negative right now on my averaged puts. And let's see if they try to hold it here. That would not be good. We need a little bit more of a drop. All right, coming back down just a little. They're trying to hold it. Very tiny candles at the moment. And look at the VIX. So weird. It is so weird. I wonder if we're going to get a huge pop up because of the way it's dropping. Almost makes me want to get out of these puts right here at a small loss. Just kind of hanging out here. 710 on the SPY. All right, there we go. Okay, come on, guys. Just one more little drop. Just one more. We can do it. Looks like it wants to pop. My puts are moving kind of quickly the wrong way. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a pop here. I'm going to take a quick look at our option positioning. Diane is here. Good morning. Dana, didn't know I averaged. I did, Dana. How are you? All right, Howard is here. Good morning. Hey, Howard, I tried to call you a couple of times yesterday. All right, was in the same put and made out with profit. Hang on. All right, Howard, thanks for that encouragement. All right, just kind of floating sideways here. Our VIX consistently dropping down to 17.1. All right, let me get back over to my minute chart. Just wanted you to see this wild 14-day ride. Absolutely wild. I'm going to Google it here when I get some time and find out when is the last time we saw that. Now, you don't see it on the SPX. We've got a couple of red days in between. I'll show one red day. Correction, one red day. Right there. We got one red day out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of 13, we got one red day here. All right, David Neely's going to take a call. Good luck, David. And then let's look at the SPY. I think there are 2 red days on the SPY during this run. Yep, one there and one there. But on the ES, you'll see that those 14 straight green days, very, very unusual, absolutely unusual. So let me get back to my minute chart. Look at that, crazy right there, crazy ride. All right, so here's our minute. I'm going to scrunch this back down a little bit. Move these up a bit. All right, freaky turkey. The tick indicator that told me we were going to reverse was a custom toss. Rings at 925, and I use it in conjunction with the upper band of the VWAP. Yeah, I'm with you, Freaky. I also use the tick. And we did hit, actually, we hit 1,000, Freaky, at, well, excuse me, 952. We hit 952. Oh, I'm watching my put. Hold on, guys. Getting close here to a win. Come on, guys. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, I'm nice and green. No, don't run up. Come back down. All right, I'm out. Small win out of that put. Whew, that's a relief. I bet these guys drop it. I bet you. With the VIX being so wonky, I bet this thing drops hard. I could be wrong. But yeah, Freaky, back to the tick. Yep, I saw that high at 1041, but you know, it took a long time for it to roll over because look at that high on the tick hit right here. And then it took another several minutes to roll over. But yeah, I'm with you, Freaky. I like the tick indicator or the tick reading. I watch it. All right, glad I'm out of that put. Tiny win for me, but that's all right. I'll take it. All right. I just have a feeling we're in for a slide today. Doesn't have to happen, but I got that feeling. All right, it didn't go past 1,000. It moved up a bit longer before capitulating. Yeah, yep, I hear you. It has to break the upper band and go over 1,000, and then it's like 95%. That's great, Freaky. Love that. All right, I'm looking at puts again at 710. 710 strike. Even though this move is a little bit extended, a little bit old, I'm not in it yet, but it feels like a drop is coming, and I could be way off, but it feels like a drop is coming. All right, I'm going to try a put here. I am in, punch it. And these puts have not done great for me today, so we'll see what we get. I'm not looking for big money on it either, to be honest. All right, Dana's still in the put. Okay, Dana. All right, getting a little push up here. Like I said, puts have not done well for me today. So we'll see if we even get a turnaround at some point. Feels to me like we should, but I've been thinking that for days, and it's been a runaway freight train to the upside, that's for sure. All right, another punch up here. Again, like I said, puts have been tough on me today, that's for sure. Longest pump ever. Well, it feels like it, doesn't it? This crazy freight train has been really going on and on. Have these people not heard of taking profit? When are they going to take profit? I'd like to know. They're really trying to beat the heck out of the bears, that's for sure. They are making their point here loud and clear. All right. Getting a little bit of a step down at the moment, but this is just the minute chart. So remember, it's noisy. It doesn't, it moves a bit, quite a bit, but it does look like a little bit of lower highs happening. Let's see. Our VIX is absolutely dumping. This is something so odd. This is why I'm kind of expecting some sort of a big change, is just this odd behavior on the VIX. It's really throwing me here. It almost feels like VIX is coiling up for a big spring. Let's take a look at the VIX here just to see what it looks like. Maybe the VIX didn't adjust to daylight savings. Maybe. All right. Gavilan, who would you say is more manipulative? The bulls or the bears? That's such a great question. I feel like, gosh, it's hard to say. And I'll tell you why, Gavilan, because the market makers and institutional money, they're behind all of these moves. And so they make moves, they make money in both directions, right? So I'm not sure I could say one is more manipulative than another, because I think these guys take turns being bulls and bears, and they're the same guys. They just have a different mask on today, right? I think they take turns being bulls and bears, and I think they manipulate it pretty well both ways. All right. And getting a little drop here. But no, not yet. And really, they have not let this go today. This has been a strong push up. This is the first time we've seen even a little hint of downward movement. So we did get this drop here. We did hit the VWAP and pushed right off of it again. But that's the first test we've seen of the VWAP in hours, right? Look at this. And if you go pre-market, the last test of the VWAP was like 3 a.m. We have been way up over the VWAP. We tested it one time here at just a little before 10 Eastern. And we have just been for hours just climbing up over the VIX or over the VWAP. But I want to look at the VIX. This is really throwing me here. So let's take a look at our VIX. There's something wonky for sure, guys. And with it being OPEX, I don't put anything off. I don't take anything off the table with OPEX. It is, options expiration can be a really wild day. It can be. It doesn't have to be, but some days it really is. Okay, look at this VIX. What a weird chart, but okay. Been dropping since 1053, and I have my cursor synchronized. So when I hover over a time on this chart, you'll see the crosshairs on this chart. So I'm hovering over the VIX right here at this 1050 mark, and you'll see the market is really, the SPY overall is dropping overall at the moment, while the VIX is really plummeting. Very, very strange. The VIX is now down 5%, and the market is just slowly kind of at this moment grinding down. Now, maybe we get some wild pop to the upside. Maybe that's what the VIX is telling us. Maybe there's going to be some crazy spring upward. That could happen, I suppose. How far down can the VIX go before something happens? It can go really far down. The VIX can go down, below 11, which is unusual. Usually the VIX likes to stay above 12 and below 20, usually. But it can go down as low as the 11s. When we get down that low, usually you're ready for the VIX to give us a pop. So we're not in that area yet. We're at 16.8. Let me take a look here. I want to take a look at the daily. Look at that huge vol crush right here. Huge push down. Volatility has been really pounded down. By the way, great question, you all. I love it when you drop your questions in there. Thank you. Freaky. Whoa, that's really cool synchronization. Yeah, I love it. It really helps because if you want to, like we're doing, compare the VIX to the SPY or anything else, it's nice to be able to synchronize your crosshairs. But let me zoom in a bit here. This is quite the vol crush here. So of course, we had this high over here on the 9th of March. And we pushed down, then kind of pushed toward this swing high right here at 31. And ever since that day, which is 327, that's the day I think we started climbing, we have done nothing but just knock this VIX down, just really beat it down. 14 is kind of a support level. In answer to your question, Howard, we've got a 14 kind of support level here. So you'll see if we look left, we see a lot of kind of just hanging out here. When the market is happy and complacent, you can see it kind of hanging out here in this 14 level. We dipped as low as 13 right before this crazy run up. So now we're down at 16, almost 17, and it looks to really be getting crushed down. But I'm really wondering if we're coiling up for a spring on the VIX. I'm going to take a look at the options flow on the VIX here. So the VIX is going to expire. Next time it expires is April 22nd. All right, there's our little pop here. Kind of what I was wondering is if we were going to get that little pop up there, which we did. And now the VIX is climbing. It's absolutely nuts. All right, let's see here. Where's our open interest? Where's our volume? So for today, Howard, will a call here give protection or just, I think you mean compete? I am not going to do a call here because we're pretty close to the current high of the day. Doesn't mean we can't go higher, but I'm not going to try that right now. If you notice, the open interest on the put side for the VIX is very high. So that is what's happening. The VIX is getting pushed down. There's a lot of open interest on the put side. The most volume today is sitting at the 17 strike. We do have a pretty high open interest here on the call side, sitting at 20, at the 20 strike. So really hard to say. Most of the open interest sitting on the put side right now is what it looks like to me. Well, 10, 14, 16, 19, 10, 15, 17, 18, really close, actually. Open interest is really close. Pretty evenly spaced. Hard to say. I'm really kind of wondering what's going on here. Look at the VIX. So weird. VIX climbing up while the market is also climbing. It's definitely out of sync here, so something's going to pop. That's usually when we see the VIX start behaving this way, it means something's about to pop. We don't even know which way sometimes, but something is different. All right, back to our SPY, getting a climb up here. Kind of sideways here. Our high of the day is 711 on the SPY, 711.3. Our high on the SPX is sitting at 71.35. Wowza. Incredible run on the SPX. All right, I'm going to get back to my ES. All right, if we added to the put, would it help or compete? We could add to the put, maybe. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to watch this top. Get back to my my minute here. And let's add the volume back on. All right, so our VIX is climbing back up after hitting 16.8. We're now back to 17, climbing with the market, dropping with the market. I'm going to take a quick look at Gamma here. Looks like we've got some bullish positioning also for Monday. So I'm looking at the options flow, and it looks like we've got some bullish positioning for Monday. We did get a news report or a headline that I saw that the Strait of Hormuz is open. And we did have President Trump saying that Iran has agreed to not having nuclear weapons and to turning over their uranium dust. So hope that's true. It could be what the market is climbing on. I mean, the market's been climbing on all of this geopolitical stuff for the last few days. We also got a big knockdown on crude. So light sweet crude trading at 81, guys. Wow. We haven't seen that in a while. We've been up over 100 for a long time. So really good to see light sweet crude trading much lower. Be nice to see that reflected at the gas pump. Am I right? All right. Guy is here. Good morning, Guy. This is a day for the history book, kind of like AI and Cyberdyne systems merged. What are you referring to there, Guy? All right, Freaky, 80 is the key number, lower than that, and we're golden. Yeah, it's looking beautiful, Freaky, for sure, on oil. All right, little pullback here. That's nice. There we go. Will probably take a while to get the price at the pump. Yes, yeah, I think so too. Bitcoin sitting at almost 78K. What a nice climb for Bitcoin. All right, no drop yet. Sitting right at our high of day, 711.3 on the SPY, 71.37 on the SPX. All right, no drop. And these days are a little challenging because, like I said, puts have not paid very well today, but calls are tough. It's really hard to be a buyer here at all-time highs. Very hard to be a buyer, as one of you said, Freaky said, has anyone heard of taking profit? You know, we're waiting for this other shoe to drop and it just doesn't. It just keeps screaming upward. And it's very hard to be a buyer. Even scalping, it's tough to be a buyer here. So this is a challenging trading period. But that's okay because we trade like water. All right, VIX is still giving us a little climb here. Climbing with the market, doing it very odd. Climb starting to slow a bit. Still sitting at 17.1. And let's check our leaderboard. Look at MSTR, guys. Holy cow. Now I've got a credit put spread on MSTR that's at 100% profit, but I'm telling you, I wish I had a call on MSTR. Look at it. 12, almost 13% up today. That is beautiful. I also have a credit put spread on BMNR, which is also up 5%. Both of those up at 100%. Those are going to expire today at full profit. Tesla up 5%. Amazing. Apple up 3%. Bitcoin, of course, up almost to 78,000, up 3%. UNH up quite a bit, 2.9%. And leading the charge of the indices is the IWM. So the Russell is leading us upward over 2%, 2.2% on the IWM. Wow, big, big move. Microsoft up 2.1. The mags as a whole are up 2.1. The Dow is up 2%. Wow. Amazon 1.7. Gold is up today. Interesting. The Qs or the NASDAQ is up 1.4%. And we are dragging up the rear at 1.3%. Still a strong day. 95 points up from yesterday's close. Quite impressive. Meta is up 1%. Google is up almost 1%. No real laggards today at all except for Oracle. And you can't even count that as a laggard because Oracle has been screaming for days. So now it's just kind of sitting at its flat line. Netflix is the big loser today after reporting earnings, down almost 10%. All right, here comes a little move here on our put. That's nice. Let's see if we can get down a bit. Our VIX is rising. 17.2. Okay. Just kind of holding here. See if we continue down or they just try to keep it sideways. As you can see, it's been a little bit rangy since about 10:40 Eastern. It really kind of just looked like it was coming down, but it came right back into range. So we count all of this as range. So we'll see if they try to keep holding it here in this range, or we can get some kind of a drop. Would like to see a test of the VWAP again. And coincidentally, it's sitting right at the overnight high. All right. Getting a little bit of a down move. Let's see if it can keep going. The current bottom of the range is kind of right in through here at the 710 level. We'll see if we can come down and hit that range. VIX slowly creeping up here. Not moving too fast, just kind of creeping along here. All right, freaky, 6.5, and I'm done for the day. Thanks for the analysis, Mel. I'm going to look into some stuff now. Have a great day, freaky, and thanks for joining. I'm glad you made some money. Still sideways at the moment. Not going too far. It looks like our MACD might try to roll back up a little bit here. Let's see what we get. $17.2 on the VIX. I'm going to take a quick look at NDX and then the MAGs. Okay, so NASDAQ looking pretty similar, very similar chart. Very similar chart, which we expect. Usually we expect the NASDAQ and the SPY to look pretty similar. You can sure see that right here. Let me take a quick look at what the MAGs are doing. Also similar, not quite the same, getting more of a rounded top instead of a sideways range on the MAGs, but it is holding this level right here. Let's take a look at the Qs. Okay. Yeah, you can on the Qs and the SPY, you can definitely see the sideways motion here. Really holding in this level. And that's that 710 range on the SPY. That is the call wall for the gamma. So usually if there's a strong call wall and strong positive gamma, we can see a lot of times the market will try to pin, or in other words, hold a close at a certain level. So that call wall when we're positive gamma, the market will try to hold that call wall and try to close around it. So that is possible that we just try to hold this 710 today. But again, it is OPEX, so we could see a drop. We could see that happen. And this VIX is continuing to climb while the market continues to move sideways. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA ranging a bit as well, but that chart looks slightly different. And sometimes NVIDIA leads, but not always, of the Mag 7. Sometimes you can see NVIDIA leading. Today, I'm going to say at the front. Okay. What is that? There are some odd things going on today. Big volume pop there. I was looking at who our leaders are on the Mag 7. News or bait before the drop? Hard to say, Freaky. This is an unusual day. I'm really kind of on pins and needles here, waiting to see what's going on here. This is very different kind of day. It does feel like something is about to go. Either something screams upward or drops hard, but it does feel like something is about to give here. I don't know what. All right, there's a pop up to our current top. 711.3 on the SPY. Big volume right there. And our leader on the Mag 7 side today is Tesla and then Apple. Those guys are kind of leading us. All right, David, let's get the real scoop. Who has Pelosi's number? Yeah, that would be interesting, right? I'd like to know what the scoop is. I guess we're going to find out. The market will do exactly as you expect in the most unexpected way possible. That's an interesting quote. I like that. Let's take a look at Tesla here, since they seem to be the leaders this morning of the Mag 7. Bullish, bullish, bullish all day long. Strong run up here on Tesla. Little pullback, another leg up, a little pullback. So let's see what Tesla does here. Tesla is also, at this moment, a little bit range bound. So again, strong push and then kind of this sideways action going on. And we'll take a look at Apple. What's going on with Apple? Apple also pushing up hard pretty much most of the day. Not looking a little bit similar to Tesla and even the SPY with this kind of almost wanting to make a head and shoulders here. You could see that. You could see that maybe the left shoulder, the head, maybe the right shoulder if we drop from here, possibly. It could be. You can sort of see that pattern on the ES, except that this head isn't really much bigger than the shoulder. It's almost a double top here. And a triple at this point. So here's another touch of this top on the ES. So 1, kind of 2, 3, 4. 4 touches up here at this 71.75 level on the ES. So we'll either push up through it or hit a drop. And the VIX climbs. 17.3 on the VIX. All right, so we are still sitting in pretty positive gamma. Last time I checked, it was a very, very strong bullish gamma today, call gamma, very high today. And it hasn't changed all day. It's been pretty high all day. 710, like I said, was our call wall. We beat that by a little bit. We hit 711. We've got a put wall sitting at 700. Doesn't look likely that we would see that today. We have 6 billion in positive net gamma. So the put gamma is almost non-existent. It's under a billion. It's at 999 million on the put gamma for today's expiration. 7.7 billion in call gamma for the net positive gamma sitting at 6.7 billion. That's pretty significant. Pretty significant. 7 billion in call gamma just for today's expiration. All right. $11.21. Yeah, right there. Okay. So we're just going to have to wait through the sideways and see if we push up through this top or if we pull back down. I'll look at the options volume real quick here. If it wants to change for me, that would be nice. Come on, guys, change it. Okay. Oh, this is the 16th. There we go. All right. On the call side, most of the volume is sitting at 710 strike. On the put side, volume sitting at 710. So there we go. That represents our sideways move. We have volume building at 711 and 712. So those strikes could get hit. The volume is building there. Higher volume there than on the put side. Amazing. Almost no open interest sitting on the put side today. Amazing. Wow. All right, pushing this top here, right here. Another attempt right here at this top that they haven't been able to break yet. That doesn't mean they won't. They certainly could. Like I said, we've got volume building at 712 and even at 713. Right there. 712 and some at 713. All right, we're getting close to the end of the stream. So let's talk through this put that we're holding. If we can't beat this top, I will probably average this put. And if we do beat the top and start screaming upward, I will probably close it for a loss. It's down at this point at about 40% negative. So, well, there's a nice little drop. That's good to see. So again, I don't, if we start seeing a nice drop here and some good indications that we might lose this range, I might average it, or it may just go. As long as it gets down to about here, we'll be probably just fine. So I'll keep an eye on that, but that's kind of my plan for this trade. If it pops up off through this 711 up to 712, I'll probably jump out, and that'll be maybe a 40-50% loss if I have to take it that way. But let's see, we're starting, looks like we might turn over here. That would be nice. And you know, if anyone followed, remember it is educational, but if you are in it, nothing wrong with taking the stop. You know, if it comes down here, taking the stop in the 30s, nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad stop. It's really, really easy to make money and earn that back. So don't be afraid of those stops either. All right. Dana is holding 2 losing puts. Sorry to hear that, Dana. Okay, David, you're in the puts. All right, guys. So you know what the plan is, right? If it comes down to about here, we'll be okay. Right now it's at 30%. You can take the loss. That's not that bad. You know, if it pops up through 711, then we got to take the loss. And guys, sometimes it's a losing trade. So that's okay. It's okay to have a losing trade. As you know, on this stream, we don't take very many of them. Okay. So take the loss. Sometimes it's not going to hurt you. Take the loss. A 30% loss. We're sitting at 30 right now, 35. That's not a big deal. I mean, you know, if you don't want to wait and see if we break down through here, then it's okay to take that loss. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right, Dana, what stop am I considering? I am going to wait and see if we can get down to the bottom of this range. If we can't, I may take a stop right in here in the middle of this range. And right now, like I said, we're sitting at about 35%. That's not that bad. So if it pops up through the top, I'll take that stop there. And if we can't break the bottom, I'll try to take a stop at about the middle of this range here, right in through here. Okay. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will be back here again on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if any of you are in the chat, I'll update you on the trade, and we'll see you back again here on Monday. All right. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.